The Amazon's flood nurtures a jungle throbbing with life. But all who try to share her bounty find themselves captive to her relentless rise and fall. Life all along the river is congenial in high waters. Men gather at Calypso's rails to glimpse the stately majesty of the Amazonia. Grand freighter of the Valdez line, she proudly glides upriver.
But waters that rise slowly throughout the year abruptly drop in August. Weeks before on water, the MS Amazonia now sails a prairie. For some, receding waters mean profusion, fertile soils, and a river enriched by drained jungle foliage. But elsewhere, life is buffeted by the change. Hordes of fish strand and die. Birds build nests on ships' bare bottoms. Survivors adapt to the alien, made all the more precarious by nature's whims. Depending on rain, the river can drop as little as 18 feet, as much as 45. Settlers, wildlife, even regal ship lines are entangled together in her web of unpredictability.
The dry months, the season of scarcity for water life, now banished from the forest, is the Amex Kam, the Indians say, the good time for man. Settlers hasten through muds to catch game, to set nets in shrinking ponds where fish concentrate. The flood has left its mark, tons of silt. In his continuing Amazon mission, Jacques Cousteau sends his men to walk a jungle they once explored with aqualungs. Flora and fauna adapt to the ever-changing environment. Seeds germinate quickly. Some fish hibernate in muds until they can again glide among trees where divers once swam. Above the water's ebb and flow, monkeys thrive by staying in treetops. The pulse of life beats with the pulse of the flood. As the Amazon proverb affirms, man and the river are always going. Only the forest remains.
Settlers say this bewildering world is haunted, that monsters steal the shadows of greedy hunters, that dolphins bewitch those who harm them. But there are other ways to explain the Amazon's assortment of life.
Descending from the river's source, the Cousteau team detours the last lethal mountain rapids to join the headwaters at their entry into jungle near Louisiana, Peru. Christened by the wife of a local landholder, a 37-foot inflated raft is dubbed Pirarucu, after the area's giant fish. The raft will carry them through the maze of waters that lead to the Amazon. The adventure ahead will be interrupted frequently as the men pause to explore vast territories beyond the banks. The raft carries passengers from two separate worlds, a satellite transmitter and an Ashanaka Indian, Policarpo. His people gather silently to watch Jean-Michel Cousteau lead the floating Conestoga wagon by. Policarpo is renowned for his innate sense of currents. He reads the river, Dominique Soumian steers. The Indians' decisions must be instant and instinctive. Whirling rapids and heavy sediments continually reshape the river. Maps are instantly out of date. Policarpo sounds incessantly. Shallows loom up everywhere. Still, the inevitable occurs. Like many rafts built for rapids, the Pirarucu cannot function in reverse. The men must repeatedly push their wagon train back on the trail. On the Ucayali River, water's slow. Even in the dry season, short squalls herald the trademark of the nearing Amazon, rain. Life grows calm. Electronician Guy Jouas attends to laundry, Dominique to his beard. The heat and insects of the Ucayali, known as Mosquito River, are relieved by a rainforest singular bath, water from the roof. Everyone on the crowded raft, cameramen, scientists, expedition leader, pitches in. Jean-Michel cooks dinner. Policarpo, Pepe, the raft's mascot, and the team share food, drink, and camaraderie during the few days without jungle expeditions.
The frontier craft nears a frontier town, Pucallpa, liaison between the Peruvian interior and the Pacific coast. Here, trucks converge, transferring goods to barges that will forge into the jungle. Trees from the forest are turned to lumber. Sawdust and other detritus of civilization are shoved into the water. Important aids to the ecosystem, hungry vultures consume wastes.
Continuing down the headwaters, Jean-Michel contacts Cousteau, sailing up the Amazon toward their rendezvous. The flood crest, which passed headwaters, still submerges the Amazon forest. A hovercraft team investigates this year's unusually high waters. Settlers are accustomed to inundation each and every year. Their lives are thrown off balance, not by the return of the flood, only by the unpredictability of its depths. This year's catastrophe is already met with fatalistic calm. A flooded hut collapsed. Two homeless families crowd an abandoned riverboat. One father can't say how many children crammed the boat, though 15 hens died. He's rebuilt before, he'll do it again. Fishing is also meager in the flood, when aquatic animals disperse to the forest to feed. Only those who can maneuver canoes in jungle and have sure hands with harpoons or bows succeed. Arrows are shot nearly parallel to the surface, on the chance that they will pierce fish as they skip repeatedly through water. When fish are actually spotted in sunken roots, the experienced always hit target. The exacting art is possible only on rainless days, when keen eyes can see leaves tremble as fish feed.
Like Hemingway's hero, alone in his skiff, an old man waits for the rare trophy, a pirarucu. Weighing as much as 300 pounds, the giant often grazes the same waters. Fishermen who glimpsed the creature one afternoon returned the next to wait and hope.
The fish breathes with a primitive lung and gills. The old man watches to see its surface for air. He hurls his harpoon instantly. The animal's only enemies are jaguars and fishermen, who rarely understand laws to protect the disappearing creature. The powerful fish may struggle 2 hours before it can be given the death-delivering blows.
To fishermen, winning a pirarucu equals the kill of a lion to Maasai warriors. Its flesh is dried for food, its scales hardened to sand wood. Bones will be cautiously disposed. Settlers believe that sorcerers can use them to curse the man who caught and killed the fish. A giant river otter, rare on Earth and little known, has joined us in our expedition. Nicknaming the creature Cacha, short for cachaça, a Brazilian endearment, we found the animal ailing in an abandoned zoo. Determined to nurse him, we brought him to Calypso and built a pool on board. At first snarling and suspicious, the animal has become a special crew member.
Cacha grabs fish like hot dogs in his agile paws. Humming is one of the many sounds these intelligent animals use to communicate. Their noisiness usually attracts a bullet. Here the calls bring friends. 2 species reveal needs, one to give affection, the other to receive it. The exploration of the Amazon marks Cousteau's 53rd expedition. In all his voyages, his home came with him, Calypso.
After all their encounters with nature's strange phenomena, the men eagerly awaited touch of the familiar, Mère.
Alors, dites Murphy. Hop. Tréboz. Merci. Mounier. Colin. Scott. Là. Mounier. Mounier. Falco. Merci. Silvio. Oh, good.
Xavier, il est avec l'équipe. À la radio. Merci. Acteur. Regardez.
Katja is an integral team member with free access to the ship's most sensitive equipment room. The animal casually strolls the echo sounder and side-scan sonar, while electronician Michel Treboz communicates with Cousteau's bureaus in Los Angeles, Norfolk, New York, Paris, and Monaco. Telex and satellite systems enabled Cousteau to organize a far-flung mission more complicated than any he has undertaken. Team cooperation is not only amiable, but essential. Madame Cousteau herself, rarely filmed, serves as supply officer, nurse, sonar operator, hairstylist. Once asked how many sons she had, she gave the number of crew members. She now has 26, plus Otter.
There is time, of course, to ponder the Amazon's unparalleled life. Both pink and gray dolphins abound in these waters. River people refuse to harm the two unusual species, fearing they are phantoms who live below, transforming to dolphins as they near the surface.
Cousteau visits a farm caretaker who says a dolphin appeared as a girl while he was cooking lunch.
Yo cuando estaba preparando mi rancho era 1:30 de la tarde. Y pareció de aquí una chica. Se puso
Cousteau asks if she was beautiful,
preciosa, de encantar.
so exquisite that she captivated him despite his age.
Pero vino.
She wore only lingerie bottoms and a bra,
Su bombachita y los sostén. Pero si al hablar la chica conmigo.
transfixing me with her eyes, he said. She wanted to bewitch me and take me away.
Estaba hablando con pero sus ojos en mí. Me quiso quizás magnetizar, dice, para que me lleve.
¿Usted por qué no quería seguirla a ella? ¿Tenía miedo de que
He hadn't been afraid, just worried about his burning lunch.
En la candela se carbonizaba. Pero yo le miraba que no era gente.
He knew she was a dolphin, but he was tempted to follow the beautiful creature.
Esa preciosa chica.
But she will come back.
dice que va a volver?
Va a volver. Ojalá.
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 He says, I hope
Aunque
so.
viejo todavía lo
If she
sigo yo.
returns, he'll
Esta
follow.
vez si no le dejo.
Maybe in his old age, his luck has come.
Tal vez mi vejez mi fortuna me diera.
Ask him what he thinks about the Brazilian story, that when young chicas become pregnant, they claim it is a dolphin. Does he believe in that?
¿Y usted qué piensa? Porque en el Brasil hay una historia.
Cousteau has been told that dolphins were once noted as fathers on birth certificates.
Es por un bufeo. Es culpa de un bufeo. ¿Usted qué cree? ¿Que es cierto o no?
Sí, sí, sí. Pero no nace criatura.
True, but the baby is a horrendous, deformed fish.
Disforme, feísimo.
Oh. And does this, is this also true in Peru?
Sí. De mi mamá resultó
He
en
says his
estado
mother.
de...
Of course, he said. It happened to my mother.
A los 4 meses que mi mamá estaba en estado, ya caí el fete. Pero el día
So
que va a
awful
caer,
were her pregnancy pains, they called a medicine man who gave her herbs.
Y llamamos un médico que comprendía de esa cuestión. Le convidó no sé qué cosas ahí de vegetales y vino el feto.
When the fetus aborted, it was fish-shaped.
Ahí me le echó por medio. Un pez así, pero disforme.
A gray dolphin.
Su hijo del delfín.
Little known to scientists, the Amazon's gray dolphin has never been studied in the wild. For a scientist from INPA, Brazil's Institute for Amazon Research, Cousteau's men spot the animal. They lay a huge net to enclose the creature in a bay. The nimble dolphin confirms its reputation for speed and agility to the ship's doctor. Albert Falco, Cousteau's most trusted observer of marine animals, quickly directs the dolphin's transfer to a makeshift pool fenced off in the bay. The animal, outstretched on foam, is splashed so that its sensitive skin will not dry during the short trip. Xavier Desmier carries the animal to the pool. The world's smallest dolphins, often only 5 feet long, the greys swim in rapidly moving groups and seem dependent on attachments to others in their school. They are known to Brazilians as the sacred dolphins. Scientist Vera da Silva times the dolphin's breaths. The gray dolphin is said to swim a swift and purposeful course. To the men's surprise, the animals spontaneously leap with lyrical grace. Xavier and cameraman Louis Preslin cannot repress an impulse to applaud. Noted for their well-developed dorsal fin without the bulging head of the unusual pink dolphin famous in these waters, the streamlined creatures more closely resemble classic ocean dolphins. Cousteau discusses the differences between species with De Silva, who specializes in freshwater dolphins. The pink, says De Silva, is the more primitive species. Cousteau is most struck by the pink dolphin's greater pliancy, its awesome ability actually to fold its body in two. Its widely spaced vertebrae give it extreme suppleness. Cousteau recalls the first time he heard the pink dolphin's loud blow. A dolphin in the treetops. Fast but not flexible, greys stay in deep water, avoiding the tortuous paths between vines in the flooded forest. Their documentation complete, Cousteau and De Silva free the dolphin.
Panicked river folk tell of men driven to madness, even exhausted to death, by dervish passions of dolphin girls. Our team is seduced by the dolphin in its own form.
A jet from Paris pierces the dawn. After attending to expedition details in Europe, Jacques Cousteau returns to Brazil. Fishermen have told him that now is the best season to film the Amazon's exceptional pink dolphin. Cousteau immediately transfers to his amphibious plane. He will fly directly to Praia Grande on the Rio Negro, where fishermen say they often find pink dolphins.
Since I first saw the countless creatures from my ship, I have been bewitched. The most primitive of living toothed cetaceans, the eerie pastel animals may be early models of dolphins that today play in the sea. The aberrations below contort like rubber. They turn their heads at 90-degree angles, even rotate in their loose skins. His javelin beak charging ahead, one dolphin follows a fish as though chasing a shadow.
On the Rio Negro tributary, fishermen come to a favorite spot, never-changing areas, passing the niche from father to son. One employer hires workers to heave huge circular nets to catch migrating fish. Pink Amazon dolphins, hungry for the same windfall, become entangled. Because Brazil's research institute sends scientists here, the men help out by pulling the animals ashore for study. Da Silva represents the institute. 2 dolphins have been caught. The impish animals are far from timid, known to sneak under canoes to steal settlers' paddles. Scientists confirm the tale of one fisherman who calls a pink dolphin to aid him. The animal chases fish into his net for an hour at a time. The captured dolphins are moved for tagging. The fishermen are cautious. Bad luck or even disease curse those responsible for dolphin deaths. After tagging, the fishermen will return the dolphins to freedom. Once believed blind, their sight is functional. The animals hear exceptionally well and are especially capable of targeting splashing fish by sound in the Amazon's murky waters. Their beaks, studded with sensitive hairs, probe the floor for hidden creatures. It is pointless to pen the animals, settlers say. They simply sprout legs and walk away.
Now, did he have trouble? Maybe he could tell a story now, I think.
The owner of the fishing operation is well versed in the pink dolphin's spectral powers. One day, when he was about 34 and working here, a dolphin appeared. At the time, his wife was 5 months pregnant. The dolphin's gaze met his. The animal came close, but jumped away when the men pulled in their nets. The dolphin was caught, tied, turned on his back. The owner beat the animal.
Peia nele, peia. Peia jogava água, ele fazia... Suviava, né? Aquele deu um subio fino. E eu, peia. Aí soltei, quando soltei, seu...
The creature leaped to liberty. The next day, they found the dolphin dead.
Chegou o dia dela descansar, né? Descansou.
Time passed. His wife gave birth. The baby girl had a dolphin's head, except for the rostrum. But there were 2 blowholes.
In
several places in Peru and here, some fishermen were telling me that it is the gray dolphin that sometimes takes the shape of a human being to go dancing with girls.
Qual dos botos vira homem?
Vermelho.
Vermelho. Esse
Vermelho.
pink dolphin.
Here it is the pink, not the little gray, that turns into humans.
Não.
Cousteau is also told dolphin men are identifiable. At dances, they wear hats.
Parce que comme lui, il garde le chapeau sur la tête pour cacher les blowholes, to hide the blowholes. They keep the hat on their head to hide the blowholes. So maybe you are a dolphin. Maybe you are un peu vermelho.
Ele era vermelho quando era rapaz.
One fisherman I met told me that even sometimes at night, one of the dolphins would transform in beautiful girl, chica preciosa, they said in Peru.
Você já ouviu essa?
Não, antigamente, agora não, dos certos anos para cá. A nova geração.
It used to happen at fiestas, but no more. The young generation no longer believes, so the dolphins no longer transform. The old beliefs are still expressed in a folk song. A dolphin stole a sweetheart away.
Tão bela e gostava de amar, sendo do rio, só pensava no mar. E eu que tinha rio só para lhe dar. Foi-se embora, boto levou-a, foi-se embora, rumo do mar, de saudade fiz a canoa, vou dentro dela lhe buscar. Eu vou dentro dela lhe buscar. Mas eu vou dentro dela lhe buscar. Vou dentro dela lhe buscar. Mas eu vou dentro dela lhe buscar.
Lunch on Calypso is lively. The previous night, a jaguar shinnied up the anchor chain, climbed aboard, and was dispatched with a broom. Catcher joins his crew. Indians are said to take otters as pets, but Catcher, with his good-natured self-assurance, is more than a pet. He is a shipboard personality. Disdaining the discussion of his only predator, the jaguar, Catcher parts to dine upon his own daily 8 pounds of fish. On the headwaters, Jean-Michel's raft team has nearly completed its descent from the Amazon's source. Tomorrow they will meet the ship. This assignment will be finished.
Pepe the parrot will leave aboard Calypso. The man will be reorganized, the raft dismantled. The headwater adventure is recalled, future adventures anticipated. The champagne seems somehow bittersweet.
The important day has dawned. Combined efforts of raft and ship to follow the Amazon source to mouth are about to reach their finale. Cousteau radios his son on the Ucayali headwaters.
Bon, alors écoute, nous avons quitté Iquitos, mais on a eu des difficultés.
He tells Jean-Michel that the ship stopped slightly short of its planned route because of dropping water levels.
On a continué et maintenant on a été obligé de jeter l'ancre au confluent.
She is anchored at the confluence of the Ucayali tributary and the Marañón. She will strand if she goes farther.
Les sondeurs montrent qu'on s'échouerait. Alors, où êtes-vous exactement? Donne-moi ta position à l'heure actuelle.
The raft, says Jean-Michel, is only 5 miles away. It will cross the final waters to Calypso. Cousteau will send escorts to welcome the raft on its last triumphant miles.
Okay?
The equipment Cousteau jokingly calls Calypso's annexes, hovercraft, riverboat, helicopter, have greatly expanded the expedition's range. They now will see the mission to its end. Jouas dons formal attire after 5 months on freezing and tropic tributaries, sardined with as many as 13 crew and scientists. Like a migrating bird finally heading home, the raft joins the covey of equipment speeding toward Calypso. The raft team has traveled 1,700 miles from the mountain where the Amazon is born in icy drops of glacial waters. Calypso has journeyed 2,300 miles upriver from the Atlantic. Together, they have covered the Amazon's entire course. Simone Cousteau, known as La Bergère, the shepherdess to her men, comes to the foredeck to see her crew reunite. Frozen provisions in the Andes, swollen legs and ulcerated arms from insect bites, debilitating intestinal problems from jungle parasites, all are anecdotes of the past. The grand achievement predominates the present. More than 1,000 samples are being flown to international labs. Shipboard computers store data on microscopic river life. Electronic probes have analyzed water quality along Calypso's entire path.
We have used equipment never imagined by conquistadors who starved and died of fever. We were attacked by no mythic Amazon women warriors, sought no lost continent. But we entered the jungle nearly as dense, untamed, unpenetrated as the one Pizarro discovered 400 years ago. And we leave it, obsessed with the same spellbound sense of wonder.
The time has come to say goodbye to Katja. Jean-Michel, Falco, and Cousteau will dive with the otter that so often swam with them in liberty and always came back home. Katja's friends gather to bid adieu.
Like all his species, Katja dives and surfaces without apparent movement of muscle, without sound, even without a ripple. He's as fluid as the river.
None of the men wants to part with Katya, but keeping him would be a mistake. A freshwater animal, he could not survive the saltwater seas and changing climates of Calypso's future journeys, nor can they set him free. Accustomed to humans, he would be shot and skinned immediately. A Brazilian scientist who lives on an artificial lake preserve says Katya can safely roam free there with him. The animal's stiff-legged shuffle marks his territory. Releasing a strong, musky scent from two anal glands, Katya leaves information about his sex and receptivity for otters he will sadly never see.
The scientist has arrived to take Katya. We are sure of our decision for the animal's safety. We looked endlessly for a companion for him. None existed. Animal dealers could only offer hides.
The men say farewell to Katya, and maybe to his species.
The otter's precarious situation reflects that of the forest in which he lives. The Amazon's astonishing variety of life is intertwined in ways we do not yet understand. What happens when we remove a Katya? What happens if the younger generations who no longer believe in legends, no longer refrain from hunting dolphins or protecting the mighty Amazon itself? Older settlers say that spirits steal the souls of those who abuse the living world. Perhaps it is true. We humans also fit into nature's one great vibrant whole. When we lose a Katya or an Amazon, we lose a part of ourselves.
The Amazon rainforest is the world's largest living laboratory. Under its canopy, unknown wonders await discovery. New medicines, fibers, foods. The thriving kingdom flourishes on a tight, efficient system. Fallen leaves break down quickly in the warmth and wet. Roots at the ground's surface recycle nutrients immediately. In the Amazon's poor soils, the forest feeds itself. When the Cousteau team ventures into the jungle's interior, they will learn what happens when this life cycle is broken, when trees are stripped away for a few years farming, when no seeds remain to renew the forest, no animals to disperse them, when, without foliage, rain patterns change, even around the globe.
Half the world's rainforests are gone now. Some experts warn the Amazons may disappear in some 50 years. Ever since humans turned Mesopotamia's ancient gardens into a Sahara, a philosopher's wisdom has been repeatedly confirmed. Forests precede peoples and nations, he wrote. Deserts succeed them. The Amazon has long ruled humans. Now humans attempt to shackle the Amazon, to build dams and detour tributaries. In the past, such massive undertakings, engineered with pride, not foresight, impatience, not wisdom, crippled the Nile and other great waterways on earth. They are rivers of the past. The Amazon is the river of the future. Which will it become? Proof of hopeless folly or testament to our hard-won wisdom?